to the BAM Pod.
Hey folks, Randall and I want to talk to you real quick about choosing the right electronics mount for your bass boat.
Mark and I have been partnered with Bass Boat Technologies from the very beginning, and we know the quality and effort that Van Foster has put into this company.
Custom, that's the one thing that I think about whenever I think of Bass Boat Technologies. Van Foster has spent years, not hours, years perfecting these mounts. He works with just about every bass boat company out there, most models for every bass boat company out there. He has spent the time working on these bass boats. So what you get is a custom fitted mount, not some mass produced universal mount for every bass boat out there. Van makes them custom fit for your bass boat.
Bass Boat Technologies also makes a lot of other custom parts. Seat pedestal plugs, tool holders, steering wheel spacers, and battery trays are all made with the same attention to detail that Bass Boat Technologies is known for.
Bass Boat Technologies is a vital part of our livelihood, and it's very important to your overall boating experience also.
Absolutely, and that's why we choose Bass Boat Technologies. Check them out at bassboattech.com. You'll be glad you did.
All right, welcome in everybody to the BAM Pod. I'm your host, Big Ed, and on the line tonight, I have a young man who just went out and won his very first Bassmaster Open, which qualified him for his very first ever Bassmasters Classic. He did it on Leech Lake in Minnesota. He is now going to be able to say that he's got a big win, and he's going to the Classic. Laker Howell, welcome into the show, my friend.
Man, what is going on, dude? What's going on?
What's going on is you just put a little notch in the headboard right there that says, you know what, I got a little bit of a name started for myself. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a name at the end of yours, you know, Laker, and then that Howell part. Your dad has been out there, man. He's been making that name for a long time, and you are following in his footsteps, and you are bringing it, dude. You've gone out there. I've had you on the show before, but you know what? Back then, you were just a fisherman. Now, you're a successful fisherman.
It's funny how that works. You catch enough bass, and eventually you become labeled a successful one. That's
right.
You know, I think all of us are chasing the same thing, and you know, it's like I kind of feel like, and I've used this analogy a few times here lately. I've always, you know, I fished 21 tournaments this year. By the end of it, I'll be in 23 or 4, something like that. Major events across the country, and spent my arm, my leg doing this for the last 6 years. And, you know, every event, you go into it and you're like, man, I want to win this one. I'm going to win this one. You got to believe you're going to win it. But at the end of the day, I feel like every angler can agree with me. We're all kind of like we're like the dog in the neighborhood that chases the cars, right? We don't have any plan with what happens when we catch it, but we're going to chase the car every single day that we see it go by. When we finally, I caught the car. I don't know what to do with it yet, but I caught the car, man. I'm here to tell you, it's great.
Well, you know what? You know, I look at what you did. You know, you say, "Oh, I just spent all this money chasing it. I've got out there. This is this dream." It's $47,000, and you go, "You know what? I didn't break even. Darn it!" But it's still a dream, right? I mean, you're still out there. You're still doing this whole thing. I imagine, so if y'all go back, and I can't remember if it was his very first one or one of the, but I think it was. Anyways, so Randy goes out, and if you go back on YouTube, you can watch Randy driving he was driving into the Classic, and on the back of that boat, I believe holding the flag right there was this man that I'm talking to right now, Laker Howell. You know, and that's one of those things that I go, that's so cool. And I asked him off the show, I said, you know, I think what we should do is when you come driving in, your dad needs to be on the back of that boat waving the flag. And I think we can make that happen, you know, everybody?
That'd be so funny, man. I tell you what, if I win, which that's crazy to even say out loud, but if I win the Classic, I think I'll make that deal. I'll be like, hey, look, when you won, I held it up. Now,
right?
Whenever I win, whatever day that is, you got to hold it up in the back of the boat.
I got to tell you, if you can go out on your very first one, your very first classic, you could push those nerves down. You can push down everything it's going to take and not vomit on stage, because I can tell you what, it probably would be right. It'll be crying or vomiting. Those are the only two ways you can go when you, when you're at that level, right?
Yeah.
If you can do all that and win that event, I'm telling you right now, man, it will be absolutely amazing. There are some big names that have done it, and you'll absolutely be there. It's we will get into the fishing in a second, but I look at this and I just think it's so awesome that when you were a kid, you're watching your dad do this whole thing, you coming up, and it becomes this dream, it becomes this obsession. It's not even a dream, it's an obsession that you start. I want to make the classic. I want to be that guy one day. I watch my dad do it. I want to do it. And now you blink and you're there, man. You just did it. You just won your very first event, and you're headed to the 2026 Bassmasters Classic. I know you said you haven't caught that car. You caught that car and you don't know what to do with it, but how does that even feel inside right now?
I feel like I don't really know how to feel about it, dude. Like, I really don't. And I know people are going to be like, because I've heard that my whole life. Like, whenever I've talked to somebody, man, that wins a tournament, they're going to the Classic. Like, one of my buddies, Tristan McCormick, he's made it twice now. He made it in the college bracket, and then he won an Open like the year after he got out of college. So he's been 2 times now, and he's 27 or 8, something like that. Very good friend of mine. And, I've asked him that before and other guys, and, how's it feel to win one and this, that, and the other? And he's like, and everybody says, I haven't even processed it yet. And in my mind, when you hear that, as well as anybody else that is chasing as hard as we all do, everybody thinks, man, I would process it. I promise. Give me a chance to win one and figure out what it feels like. And I promise I process it right then on the snap of fingers. And I'm here to tell you, you're not going to, because I still haven't. And I've told myself that my entire life. Whenever I win a big tournament, I'm going to be like, doing backflips on the stage. I'm going to strip naked, run to the crowd. Dude, it's like just straight up shock. When it finally hits, you're like, there's no way. Like, literally, there's no way this just happened. This don't happen. You know what I mean? Like, I go in the tournament, I'm trying to make a top 10, to make some money and go home with it. But then, oh my gosh, there's 6 guys left, and the guy that's leading only has 4 fish. So as long as I beat 5 dudes right now, I get to take that trophy home, and I get to go to the Classic next year. And then, afterwards, I'm driving around, and my mom is she's been in the business with my dad. They've been a team. It's like, the Howell team. Without my mom and my dad would be lost. So, we've gone through all the stuff and everything. And she is the person, she's behind the scenes, like figuring everything out. She's done 16 classics. Okay.
Wow.
She's got more knowledge about how everything works and what the process of all the stuff is, where, I'm going to stay and this, that, and the other. I ain't got a clue, dude. For the last 6 years, I've been working the Classic every year. I hadn't missed one. So I've been in the dang show and everything. And, I'll go watch the weigh-in from the stands and stand up there in the edge. But I don't know what to do, dude. We've been talking about it. I'm like, so how many seats do I get? When does that happen? She's like, I think you get like 10 or so. And I'm like, oh boy, I got a lot of people that are trying to go. So it's a lot to process. So I'm still working the kinks out a little bit, but as far as the nerves and stuff go, the way, and this is going to sound crazy, I'm going to say this now, and I'm going to completely retract my statement when I get to the Classic and I'm starting to freak out. But I'm going to attempt. This is not me being cocky. This is literally the way I'm going to go into this tournament. I'm going to attempt to go into the Classic by telling myself, okay, yes, it's the biggest tournament, but there's less than 60 boats here, right? They're the 60 best killers in the world, at bass fishing. But there's only 60 boats here. So they can bring in 5, I can bring in 5. So that's my whole plan going into this. I'm going to get the 3 days of practice, and then we'll see what happens in the tournament.
Man, it sounds like a plan. Whether you can pull it off or not is going to be a whole new thing. And hey, I'm pulling for you. I unfortunately will have to be here working a show our schedule came out, and I'm like, really? But my wife and one of her friends, they're heading out to the Classic. They'll be out there this year. So yeah, they'll definitely be pulling for you out there. But I heard one thing in there that I think is going to be really interesting. So
Yeah.
how weird things stick in my head is this. All I heard was that you have a game plan for the kind of woman that you're looking to marry because your mom has set a really high bar. You need to find someone that can run everything you do because you sound like right now you've got your dad's brain. And that means that you can't do anything for yourself. You're going to need that woman that can do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And mama's got a big
Well,
high bar set for you, buddy.
yeah.
So good luck with that.
I'm actually I've been married for 2 years now, so we're training her. You know, she's learning. She's doing good. She's doing really good. She's learning.
Okay. Good luck. Yeah, Senator. It's like not now. It just I heard that and I'm like, oh man, he's got his work cut out, or she's got. Now I didn't know you were married, Dad. So that's a good part. I just learned that now that you're married, but she's got a lot of work ahead of her because, yeah, this is an industry where I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't even fish anymore. I'm just an MC on the stage. I do that whole thing. Yeah, my wife runs everything I do. I can't do anything either, so I get it. It's a man thing.
Yeah, I'm getting better at I've with
you figured out how to put gas in the truck, right?
Yeah, starting out at like 18, running the country and just doing this by myself with nothing but my little my buddy Ethan and Andrew Norby to go run around the country with and do it nonstop. I've gotten my system down pretty good, but now when it comes to like the other stuff, yeah, that like my schedule and all that, like she's already got the schedule down pat. She's got the planning and stuff down pat. I've gotten pretty good at booking houses and stuff and all that kind of stuff. So it's a really good team system we got going so far. But yeah, she's just getting better and better at it, every way that she can. So it's a work in progress, but for someone to just come and jump right into the fishing world, like she did and marry into it, basically. I mean, she's doing really good to be where she is. But yeah,
I have a feeling that there's no one can steal this. It's mine. It's a reality show, The Women of Bass Fishing, the women behind the bass fishermen.
Oh, dude, that would be funny.
To see what they have to
that would be really
what
funny.
They have to put up with, the guys that they decided to marry, and how they changed once they went. Wait, did I sign up for this? I don't. Wait, that's not who I thought I married. He was so nice and sweet. It was when he was before I found out he was a bass fisherman.
Yeah, next YouTube series coming soon.
There you go. Exactly. What do they have? The Wives of Miami and all that stuff. We'll just have the Wives of Bass Fishing.
Yeah.
Well, let's get
something else I'll add in too, real quick about the Classic. Yeah. This is something that blew my mind. Right, I just have to throw this in there. So all the years my dad fishing it and me going to it and all this kind of stuff and working it and all this kind of stuff, I had no clue. And I don't know if a lot of people. I might be the only idiot that didn't know this. I had no clue that the anglers were there for 10 days, dude. 10. It's a 10-day long event for anglers. We get 3. So we get there obviously the day before practice, right?
Okay.
So that's day 1. Then we get 3 days of practice. Then you got 3 days of media and like the angler's ball and all this kind of stuff, through while you're in Knoxville and everything. You don't touch your tackle. And then the tournament starts. So it's like, I've never experienced that. I've gotten so used to 3 days of practice, 1 off day to do your tackle, then we start going. I don't know what to do with this extra time I'm gonna have. It's gonna be weird.
You're gonna have to like 100% forget about it. I mean, I can see where it's gonna be the media, the whatever. It's like all that's gonna be a distraction away from winning this thing. But you know what? You've got some people behind you, man, that can help you navigate this system. It should be a great one. I think all of us growing up, the Bassmasters Classic was always a dream. It's still the pinnacle of the sport, no matter what. I don't care who you are, what they bring up, or what anything comes out. I mean, we're out here, this is BAM. We're on the West Coast over here. We're trying to build our name. We're trying to rival what it is. I mean, you got, like I said, Bassmaster's got a 50-something year 53 year advance on us, but it's one of those things. We're trying to do that, and we're trying to make that the pinnacle of the sport. But you made it up there. Let's break down a little bit about, it's August, man, and you went up to, I've never been to Leech Lake. I don't know anything about it. Never heard of it until I heard that you won it. Picked up that phone. It's in Minnesota. I know that part. What else is it about that lake, and what did you do to catch, get your fish, and what were you focusing on?
Tackle Warehouse has been the premier online tackle shop since 2003, with a huge selection of not only the latest and greatest from the biggest brands, but the hard-to-find regional specialties as well. Tackle Warehouse. Click, save, fish.
We've paired one of the most iconic hulls in the history of bass boats with a proven lineup of trusted accessories. We're bringing you best-in-class value and performance, leaving others in your wake. Turnkey value, turnkey performance. The Pantera 2 is an overachiever in the 19-foot category. Once you hit the throttle, you'll feel the rush, and there's no looking back.
Yeah, so I mean that lake is. We've only had 2 events there, and it's primarily won by smallmouth, right? So,
okay.
But the weird part is, unless the Minnesota guys can attest to this that are listening or wherever else. But if you've been there, or you've been in one of the Minnesota lakes like that, the smallmouth there's either really dumb smallmouth that don't ever get fished for, or in a lake like Leech that gets pressure. They are the weirdest, most difficult. Like all my buddies in practice, even my roommate Andrew Banky. Andrew lives in Wisconsin, so he's like nonstop. He's a smallmouth guy. I mean, he's like a smallmouth guru. That's his deal, right? So he goes out there, and him, and then all the other good smallmouth dudes I know last year. When we were fishing that tournament last year, every one of them is like, man, if I get 7 bites in 8 hours, I'm gonna have a mega bag. And I'm like, 7? You're shooting for 7 bites out there on all them boulders you're marking? And they're like, yeah, I mean, I've been grafting for 10 hours straight. I can catch 5 off the stuff I just marked. I'm like, dude,
wow.
So then I just don't. I'm a decent smallmouth guy, right? I can keep up with people. Like if we go to a smallmouth place, like Champlain's coming up soon. I've spent a lot of time there. And St. Lawrence, I've always loved that place. I grew up fishing on there with my dad and all that stuff. But I don't have the confidence a lot of them guys do in going out there and knowing, hey, I can go scope up 7 smallmouth in a day, and 5 of them are going to weigh 22 to 25 pounds. I just don't. So, being on a background on Guntersville, which is one of the most well-known frog lakes in the country already, I've got a lot more confidence and comfort being in heavy cover and waiting on a fish to eat my frog than I do getting out there. So, dude, last year, I ain't even kidding, man. I figured out a deal last year in a couple zones on that place that was just crazy. So the lake itself is an old Indian reservation. Is the primary reason we're there. The Indian reservation and the casino brings us up there. That's where the money is in that town. So when we go up there, that's where we stay. And then on the lake itself, the lake is pretty untouched in a lot of areas by like people. So like the main zones that a lot of the largemouth can just repopulate like crazy in are wild rice fields. And I can't even really explain what wild rice is like to fish. It's kind of like if you took hyacinth and you mixed it with Coosa River bank grass. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like the thickest, and then you condense that down to like 1-inch spaces between it. It's the thickest, just gnarliest crap you've ever fished in. So the law out there is there's harvestable stuff that's real tight together. You can't get your boat up in that, right? So it's like the main field of it. But then the stuff that grows out that's like patchy, and they're not really going to focus on harvesting that, you can get up in all that, right? Okay. So you kind of have to be really specific where you go and all that kind of stuff. But all that to be said, that just explains the terrain we're fishing in. So then once you get up there, I found I found a little map of, what the lake, where the main rice fields were. And that's kind of how I broke it down. I just went to each place that was highlighted for rice. And, you get in there and you start fishing around. And dude, last year in the tournament, I mean, I finished 22nd last year, first time I was there, had 17 and a half a day on a frog. And I caught so many fish in 2 days on a frog, dude. My hands were bleeding and my shoulders were aching when I left the place.
Wow.
So I already had that idea in my mind. I'm like, man, I told myself last year, after I caught him like that, I'm like, every time there's a tournament here, I'm coming back because this is fun. It's just a fun, you don't have to stress about it when you get up there. It's like, if you're going frog fishing, you know what you're doing with it. It's crazy how wild they are on a frog there. Now, obviously this time, I didn't think that it was possible to win on a frog. I thought, well, shoot, especially being a 2-day, right? Because the first day, just like last year, got canceled due to high winds because that place is huge. It's like a big bowl. Waves get really, really bad out there. It was blowing like 30 the first day. So they canceled it. Great call. I know a lot of people saw the highlights of, certain people posting stuff on Instagram that looked like it was calm. I got to tell you, that was the bay right there at the dock. And they a bunch of liars. I'm here to tell you. And I don't care if they get mad at me or not. I went right over the place to go to another lake to go fishing that second day, second off day we got because it got canceled. It was rolling. There ain't no chance I'd want to get out there. I'd be breaking stuff. So, but anyway, day one of the tournament, get out there and, just start frogging around, and gosh, they were just smoking it. I made one pass through my zone, and by 10 o'clock, I had 19-10. And I was like, all right, I ain't going to go back through there because if I burn another 3-pounder, like, that's bad, because a lot of people were catching, 12 to 14 pounds of frog fish. So I thought, well, shoot, I'll just plan for, trying to catch 16 to 18 pounds again tomorrow, and I'll make a top 10, So I come in, I'm thinking, well, shoot, 19-10 last year, that was in like 8th place after day one. I should be in the top 10. I might get a camera tomorrow. No, them boys cracked them, dude. I mean, they cracked them. There was 20 bags over 20 pounds. I was in 21st after day one with 19-10, and I got like a pat on the back for it. I was like, dang.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, literally just a thanks for coming. So second day, I'm going out there and, I'm thinking there is absolutely no chance that I have at all to win because I've got 20 dudes ahead of me that are all scoping. They've all got their smallmouth deal figured out. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if I catch the same weight I had yesterday, all they got to catch is like 18 and a half of smallmouth, which is 5 bites out there. That's like the first 5 bites you normally get on smallmouth out there.
Right.
Well, my saving grace was the wind forecast was completely wrong, and it blew almost as hard as the first day did. So I get to my area, and it took me way longer to get up there. And by 9:30, dude, I pulled in there. As soon as I got in, I noticed the cloud cover was super, super thick that morning. The wind was blowing, and I'm like, well, shoot, they're not going to be the real, like the West Coast froggers, especially y'all, the guys that really do it like hardcore. They'll understand this. When you learn what a frog fish, because frog fish are way different than normal fish. Like they think different. They're real aggressive, but they also have a clock in their heads, I feel like. So like the clock, they start out in the morning. If it's real cloudy, they're going to be pulled out to the edge, right? But as the sun gets up and it kind of starts moving a little bit, they start easing back in. So like by 9-10 o'clock, they're going to be about the first 10-15 yards in the cover. And by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when it's blazing hot, they're going to be way back in it, right?
Right.
So right off the bat, I get in there and I'm about to start where I was day one, back up in the stuff. And I thought, shoot, that don't sound right. I'm going to go to the back. We're going to hit the edge. There was a hard edge in the back. And caught a 3.5 right off the bat. And I had 2 2 3/4. And then this one is what I thought was going to ruin me the rest of the day because I only had 2 bites over 4 pounds on day one. I fired up by the edge of this rice, dude, and it was right on the edge into my cast. I mean, just bomb, beautiful cast. Start walking it, and the rice parts with a wave. And I was like, oh, God, that's a big one. Please eat it and don't be a pike. Comes out, and the frog just literally, it never made a splash, drop of water, didn't go nowhere. The frog just quit walking and went under. I freaking cracked it. And when I hit it, I'm like, oh boy, that's a big one. I caught so many 3-pounders on day one that I was like, this one's heavier. I know it's a good one. and it come up and jumped, and I saw the frog barely in the corner of its mouth. As soon as it went down, the hook ripped out of its mouth, and it was a good one. So yeah, that one stung. That's what I said as soon as it come off. So yeah, so as soon as I lost that one, I'm like, oh crap, I got to shake that off. There's got to be more than this edge right here, right? Because it was like the best zone.
Yeah.
3 casts later, it lands, and for an up north fishery, those largemouth don't get that big up there, right? You know, like a 7-pounder is like catching a freaking 10 to 12 pounder down here in the South, right? Or on the West Coast. That's like a 10, 12.
Just really rare. Yeah.
It's rare. You know what I mean? So I land 3 casts later, and I popped it twice, and it looked like a dog jumped on it, dude. Hammered it, got it coming out. It runs up in the rice. The whole time, I know anybody in there's hearing me because I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, it's a freaking giant. It's coming out, jumping through stuff. It goes up in the rice, you know, and it just gets buried up in it. I finally get it to come to me, and all I see is the frog hanging out of the rice. I know it ain't hooked good. And I'm like, oh, please don't flop right here at the boat. And then I see a lip, and I jam my gigantic hand in its mouth and just jerked it in the boat. And it was a 5 1/4. And I had never caught one that big up there. That was a dang big one. So when I caught it, I was like, we might be working with something today. We might be. So, yeah, just kept on rolling down the edge of that stuff. And I was fishing behind people, especially on day one. And what I kind of figured out was slowing down, because everybody, you know, in the tournament setting, that's what I think differentiates the froggers and the you know, the largemouth guys and those northern deals that catch the bigger ones versus the ones that only have, you know, 12 to 14 pounds. Because you fish fast through stuff and you're going to get the fast bites, but then real big ones, you got to kind of talk into it a little bit sometimes, and that clear water and stuff. So I was slowing down. I was hitting the little differences and picking stuff apart. And, you know, I never left the zone I was in that day. And it just, one thing led to another. And about every, you know, 15 to 30 minutes, I'd weed through about 5. And then finally a big one would bite. And when that one bite, you know, you'd have to capitalize on it. But they were eating it so good. I mean, it was hard to lose them at that point. So it was a fun day. I thought I needed like one more 5-pounder to win, but I knew in my mind, shoot, I might get a top 10 out of this, you know?
Yeah.
Do what?
You did.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a top 10.
You got a top 10 out of it.
I got a really high top 10 out of this one. It was a great tournament. So yeah, I got a little bit of time left. It was like an hour and a half left, and I was like, man. And I noticed the wind had really picked up bad, and it took me like 25 minutes to get to where I was going that morning. I thought, shoot, if it's blowing like really bad, I don't want to kill these fish, because I mean every ounce in this thing is gonna matter. So I gave myself 50 minutes. I hadn't caught another one over 3 pounds in like the last 3.5 hours. It was so weird. I was like, my big ones just quit. I caught them and they were done. So I gave myself 50 minutes to run in. I get in, you know, go through the line, and, you know, I get my bag and stuff, and I'm waiting around and just kind of talking. I see the guy that was leading, Kyle Minke, and he's sitting over there. He's such a nice guy, dude. We were talking for a second. He was like, man, you got him? And I can't see what's in his bag because they got it clamped down way deep in the live release tank or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I got about what I had yesterday. My scale said I had 19 even. So I didn't think I had more than, you know, because my scale has never been more than 6 ounces off ever on any scale. So I'm thinking, shoot, I got probably 19 1/4, maybe 19 1/2, like if it's really off, you know. Yeah. And I said, about the same I had yesterday. He said, well, you know, if I was boat 169, so there wasn't many guys left. There's only 220 in it. And he said, well, I mean, if you don't get passed by anybody else, you know, you got it. I've only got 4 fish. And I was like, cool. But in my mind, I'm like, ain't no way. Don't even tell me that. I'm going to finish like 8th or 9th probably. So I get up there and, you know, weigh in, and there was nobody in the hot seat. And Hank said, well, shoot, we've been waiting on you to get up here to pull this hot seat out. In my mind, I'm thinking, this is really late in the tournament to put the first guy on the hot seat. That's weird. Huh. So then I started kind of getting a little bit of hope. I'm like, maybe. But I've done that before, and I got second. So I didn't really want to get too hyped up, you know. So then everything drags on. We finally get to the end after Hank has messed with me 3 or 4 times. And I see Kyle stand up, and the lady checking everybody in, Miss Tonette, she walks off. I'm like, well, shoot, this is the end. There's only 6 guys left. And Kyle looks at the bags across from him. He looks right up at me. He just smiled real big and shook his head like, you got it.
Oh, wow.
That's when it set in. I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way I actually just won this tournament. So everybody that come up there, they all look like they had 30 pounds. I'm like, there's no way. Absolutely not. This guy's going to beat me. He probably had 12 pounds yesterday, but he caught 32 today. He's going to beat me. And then end of the deal, Kyle walks up there, and that was it. It was surreal, man. You know, just all the, like I said on stage, just I had to thank the Lord. I still do. I thank him every day, multiple times a day. It's, you know what I mean? So, gosh, I know there's a lot of guys that have won a whole lot of big tournaments that are probably thinking this guy he don't know what to do with himself. I don't. I'm here to tell you, I'm the dog that caught the call. I don't know what to do with it. I'm just excited to be here. It's incredible.
Yeah, you know, that's a great I cannot believe that was it, man. Put a frog in your hand, go fishing. Now, you like you said, you take that down to Gunnersville or something, and that'd be that'd be normal. That'd be average. That'd be something you're doing. But to go up to a smallmouth fishery like that, have the confidence in your head to find that spot that you wanted to fish frogs and to do it. Everybody's going to ask me, so what was the frog? Which one were you throwing? Was there more than one?
Discover Plumas County, where adventure meets tranquility. Nestled in the heart of nature, Plumas County offers endless activities for everyone. Dive into the clear waters of Lake Almanor for wakeboarding thrills and fishing excitement. Whether you're an adrenaline junkie or a fishing enthusiast, Lake Almanor has something for you. Stroll through charming local boutiques and indulge in fine dining experiences that will tantalize your taste buds. From unique shops and gourmet restaurants, Plumas County is a haven for those who love to explore and savor. Immerse yourself in lush forests of pine and fir trees, perfect for camping, hiking, and biking. And don't miss the breathtaking Lassen Volcanic National Park, where you can witness the power and beauty of nature up close. Footloose in Plumas County, your ultimate escape for adventure, relaxation, and unforgettable memories. Visit Plumas County today.
So, you know, we've got Livingston's got a really good frog that's coming out, but the one I caught the majority of my fish on was the old snag proof, the Bobby's Perfect with the red hook in it. That frog is I mean, you can go see it on, you know, the Bassmaster website and stuff. I mean, it doesn't look, you know, like most baits these days are made to really catch fishermen because it's, you know, they got to look all pretty.
Right.
You know, that's all about we're all about the Japanese baits because they look so crazy. This thing is just a run of the mill, like 90s looking frog. I mean, they don't have anything special about it. And that's one thing that a lot of guys, you know, they always, you gotta hold up a bait or whatever for the picture. And that's one thing that I don't lie about what I caught them on. You know, if you ask me, I'm gonna tell you the truth, and that's the truth. That's I took a picture with it and everything, and I still can't believe that just shows you how good they eat the frog up there, man. That frog is special to me, and you know, I actually got it from a shop. I don't know what shop it was, but it was on eBay. Me and my buddy after last year. It's an old Gunnersville secret frog. It ain't no secret no more, obviously, but it's secret no more, obviously. But it started real good out in the West Coast, and that is actually where we found these. I don't think you can find them anymore, really. If you can, you know, I'd love to get some more of them. But we found a shop out in like somewhere in California on eBay, and they were selling them for like $20-some a piece. So we spent our arm and leg, me and my fishing partner did, on all they had left. We bought them out. So I don't know where else to get any more of them. I don't think you can. No. But so, yeah, secret's out, a little too late.
Secret's out. You just can't get them. But I mean, that's the thing. I mean, and not to praise the West Coast or anything too much, but some of the best fishing stuff comes from out here, right? Innovation, everything else works out here. Snag Proof that made those things. I've got a ton of them. I probably have the one you want. I'm just not selling it to you now because I know you bought them all. If
you've actually got some, I might be calling you back after the show.
I've got 7 boxes of frogs, man.
Oh my goodness, man! Yeah, we're gonna talk.
And I'm not. What's really funny is I'm not even the one who's got probably the most. I've seen a bunch of these guys out here. I mean, frogs are a big thing. Get a hold of the Delta rats out here. Trust me, every one of them has at least 5 to 6 boxes of just yeah, Bobby's perfect frog.
Yeah.
No secret on the West Coast at all. Not even a
Yeah.
slight, not even a slight one. But man, it's awesome that it went out there, did the thing, caught you this. Man, you make the classic with it. I mean, there was like is that all you had to throw all day? You had a frog rod in your hand. You weren't punching that grass. You weren't flipping or anything else. It was just throw a frog, and if they get it, they eat it. I mean, you're saying they were eating it all the way down. So sounds like that was it.
Yeah, I literally didn't throw anything but a frog. I mean, that's like I tried on day one. I tried a couple follow-up baits, because I had a couple that missed it. Just a couple, and one of them was a bigger one. So I thought, well, shoot, maybe, if you throw a follow-up bait in there, it don't matter what it is. But normally you throw a soft plastic like a Cinco in there. I threw a Cinco at it, and it was the weirdest deal, man. They didn't want anything that wasn't on the surface. That was what the craziest part of it was to me. So once I saw that, I just quit trying other things and just left the frog in my hand.
Yeah, that is kind of weird, especially this time of year. They start to, like you said, when that sun comes up, it gets a little higher. They push back in a little ways. They look for that darker shade, and they'll start looking mid column instead of up. But I mean, if you got them coming up, then you got them coming up. That's for sure. And that makes for a way funner day.
Oh my goodness, dude! I caught so many fish; it wasn't even funny. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. But yeah, that's the whole gist of the tournament, the setup, and kind of what I was looking for and all that. But yeah, I mean, the good Lord was amazing to me at that one, and I got to give him all the glory. I can't even act like my intellect or anything like that was the reason I did anything in that tournament right. I mean, it was because I know how to throw a frog. He's definitely taught me over the years, all the experience I've had on Guntersville, obviously, but. In that one, that 19 and a half and 20 and a quarter in largemouth, specifically on topwater in the north, does not happen like ever back to back.
Wow.
So that was 100% God. He allowed that to happen, and he wants me at the Classic for some reason. So we'll see what it is.
It's so that your dad can hold that flag up on the back of the boat. That's all I know right now. That's all I'm.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a good one, right? That's good. Lee, that's good.
It's gosh, going up there and doing that. Oh man, I tell you, you're gonna have a blast going into that whole thing, experiencing it for the first. Well, you're not experiencing it for the first time, but you're experiencing it at the level you're at right now, where you're the one that qualified. You're the one that's going. You're not just sitting back there looking for somebody else's, watching what somebody else is doing. It's going to be, I can't even imagine what that's going to be like for you. I wish I could be up there. I wish I didn't have a thing to go to, but we do. We have a super, I think it's a Super 60 going on. Anyways, but let everybody know out there, Bam. Before the show, I was telling, we just came back off the, Columbia River up there, and I was telling him a little bit about smallmouth fishing on the Columbia River, and I said, you know what? All you East Coasters back there, all the people back there, they go to the St. Lawrence, they go to all these rivers, and they catch a bunch of smallmouth. They should drop a little bit if they get a chance and come out and fish what we do out here on the West Coast with that Columbia River out there, because they would absolutely just you would fall apart doing it, man. It was an invite to come out and fish our pro-ams. It is, yeah, good luck, man. It would blow your mind what you can do out here. I'd love to get you out here fishing anyways. It'd be super fun.
I do love catching a bass. I don't really care where it's at or what they're biting. So that sounds fun.
There are so many of them in there. Yeah, like you're talking about. But this, and that's the interesting part for me, I guess, with going up to this lake. It's how did you? I guess it's just like you found this spot that was, what, largemouth should live here, and so I'm going to focus on those.
Yeah.
I just, what was it? Just that you saw that grass? Because I'm trying to, in my head, I'm thinking of what wild rice is, and we have wild rice out here, and I'm like, I look at that and go, that stuff's pretty thick. I mean, I felt like I'd have been wanting to punch it. I'd have been wanting to flip into it. I've been wanting to get through it because underneath it, it's open. So I mean, the fish are just sitting under there. What kind of led you to? Did you try any of that at all when you first saw it, or did you just, you know what, largemouth should live here, I'm not going to focus on smallmouth? Because if guys, you just told me, like, the first couple of guys were just smacking these smallmouth, and you come back up and go, nope, I'm sticking with largemouth. What is that? Just That right there just takes so much. What is it that just said, you know what, this is how I'm gonna die on this hill? What was it that made you do that?
Honestly, just confidence. Because I went up there and, everybody always has I feel like anybody that fishes for, long enough that's doing this on their own. I mean, there's a few exceptions. There's some guys that are, they go into it with money, whether it be, they worked a long time to get it or, family or whatever it might be. It don't really matter, sponsors. But, I went into that one and I ain't even gonna lie to you, dude. I was so broke. This is a story to tell you. This will tell you why I stuck with it so hard. I got to that event. I've had a 3-event deal where I've not had a GoPro in my boat because I broke it, and I didn't have the extra money to buy a new GoPro. So I literally borrowed one from a buddy of mine at the St. Lawrence. He had 4 cameras and he didn't need his 4th one, so he gave it to me to use for 2 days at that event. So I got footage there for my YouTube. But if y'all follow along with me, you notice I hadn't been posting much on that. I had a camera. So I get up there to that one, and, my dad, this is also another funny story. My dad will never live this one down, I don't think, because he even brought this up. He tried to talk me out of going to that event because I had already made the EQs at the St. Lawrence. I'm a fishing guide, and I've already got guide trips, booking up here on Guntersville. So he was like, dude, you need to make some money. That's a long trip. That's going to be $2,000 in expenses right there. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I know, I need to listen to you. I've already paid my entry fee though about a month ago. And I don't know, I've already got a hotel and this, and he said, well, how much would you lose if you didn't go up there? And I was like, it'd be close to $2,000 I'd lose if I just didn't go. And he was like, yeah, I guess you got to go. So I went. And the whole time I'm up there, my wife, we were talking about, bills and stuff. And she's like, please make a good check. Cause I hadn't made a check in 6 events. I've come real close, but I hadn't made a check. That's just how crazy this sport is. It's ups and downs and you can be real close, but I mean, a drop of water, you're not getting paid. You know what I mean? So I'm up there and that's what it was. Day one, I had 1910. So I was like, all right, 45 places get paid and bottom check is going to be like $4,200. So I at least get all my expenses back and I can pay off my credit card. You know what I mean? So I put all that on the credit card and went and, just literally just prayed the whole time I was up there. Like, Lord, please, I need to make a check in this one. He let me make a really good one. That's what it was.
Wow.
It was more of a, I don't have a plan B type of deal because a lot of times, like at a smallmouth place, you go and if you look for largemouth, you don't live and die on them. That is a weird way to look at it. But I didn't have any other options. I was having so much fun catching on a frog. I was like, you know what? I know I can catch another good bag and make a check. So I'm going to go do that on day 2. And then 20 pounds somehow came in the boat. It was bizarre.
I'm going to tell you right now, everybody out there listening, share this with anybody you can. This little story, this show right now, share it because you've just heard probably one of the most honest answers I have ever heard in bass fishing history. I stuck with what I had to because my wife called and said, make a check. We need to pay the bills. That is what bass fishing life is all about right there.
Yeah. PSA to anybody wanting to do this.
We need some groceries in the fridge, man. You got to do something. They're coming to get the car if you don't catch some bass. That right there is motivation to stick with a Bobby's Perfect Frog all tournament long. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the real reason.
I love the fact that your dad was like, you shouldn't go. Here, I'll give you $20 to stay home.
Yeah. I was like on the way up there, like, dude, I'm tweaking. I'm looking at my account. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have enough to even I got to put this on a credit card to get my fuel up there and back. And I'm thinking, gosh, man, when I get back, like I was calling sponsors, I'm looking at different guides and everything like, hey, can y'all throw me a couple of trips when I get back? Yeah. Like I'm planning for when I get back to just, work my butt off. And, golly, man, it was, I guess, at your lowest point in whatever you are in fishing, I mean, or in any business you get in, that's when, the Lord will turn around something and shine on you. So it was a blessing because I needed it bad.
Oh man, that was awesome. I'm sorry, but that was awesome. That's the best answer I've ever heard in my life when it comes to bass fishing. Because I feel like there's so many guys that, that go out there and do that. It's like, dude, you can't pay your mortgage this month. Why are you going fishing? Because if I
Yep.
win, because if I get some money, I can I can pay my mortgage. And it's like, what? That's not how that works. But
hey, listen. This right here is the best example of the tournament fishing world you're ever going to hear. We're a group of gypsies that is very tight knit. We travel the country together, and we've all got a serious gambling problem.
Right?
Hey, Northern California bass anglers. Ready to elevate your fishing game? Ford Fairfield partners with Bass Angler Magazine to offer top-notch trucks tailored for your needs. Our simple pricing ensures a fair deal and exceptional service. We live and breathe bass fishing, participating in local tournaments to understand exactly what you need so you never miss a good bite. Visit Ford Fairfield today and let's hit the water together.
Now, we can control outcomes. It's not fully like gambling.
Right.
We can control outcomes, and you can do all your part to do it, but you're still betting on a green fish that you can go out there and catch more than the other guy. It's really high stakes, a lot of money involved. So, yeah, that's I feel like a lot of guys have that exact story. They just don't tell it as much because, it's more about other things for them. But like I said, I'm never going to lie to anybody. I'm going to say the truth. That's the truth. I needed to make a check.
I needed to cut a check. Well, it's funny, I talked to James Watson a long time ago, and he told me that kind of like right off the bat. He goes, on January when I open up and it's time to go, it's the tournament circuit's getting ready to start. He goes, I leave my house $70,000 in debt. He goes, before I turn on the lights, before I do anything else, he goes, I am $70,000 in debt. There is a motivation factor when it comes to being a professional angler like no other out there. When you're a golfer, if you're a professional football player, baseball player, whatever, and I'm not talking AAA, I'm talking you've made it to the pros, you've made it to the top of the sport, and you're out there, you're not exactly worried about who's going to keep the lights on at home. You've got a big contract or you've got multi-millions of dollars sitting around. When you're a professional bass fisherman and you're at the top of the sport, barring Kevin Van Dam, you're looking for a check at these events. But that story was just perfect, man. It's just, I've got to cut one. I got to cut a check at this event. And this is why, it just shows you. I mean, there's still plenty of room for this sport to grow. That's painfully obvious. I don't care if you're fishing the biggest circuit in the Bassmaster circuit, if you're fishing the number 3 circuit in the BAM trail right now, it is one of those things. It's like you go out there and it's the passion that you have inside of you. It's the driving force of, I really got to cut a check, and it's also the fact that, like you said, I got to gamble a little bit. It's not, it's not completely gambling, but it's really darn close to as you're closest you're going to get to professional gambling as anything. I mean, because you're out there, you're just competing against, fish and yourself, right? I mean, I think that's really all it comes down to. Yeah,
pretty much. There's a lot of guys know how to play head games, so you get a little bit of that in there. But
Mike Akinelli's not fishing on your with you anymore, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't checked the points on the Elite Series, so I don't know.
Right.
I don't know who's in or out. I'm sure I'll see a bunch of different Elite guys that are either in or trying to get back in the EQs coming up. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, man. What's your next thing coming up?
We've got the Elite qualifiers, the final 3 events, starting up in September on Champlain. So we got to be up there by, I think it's like September 13th or something like that. So pretty soon here. Sent off my big check to Bassmaster for $10,500, and the other 135 of us did the same thing. So they got us all paid in full, and we're all ready to rock and roll again. And that hurt watching that leave the bank account pretty bad. So we'll See if we can make another check.
I was going to say, but it didn't quite hurt as bad as it would have had you not won that last event, right?
Oh yeah, that's a fact. That's a dang fact right there. I would have been paying my deposit for the first event and praying I made a check at that one to fish the next one. So yeah, it's 100%. You're right on that. So yeah, whenever we get to that one, that'll start us off, and then the next month, like 3 weeks later, we've got Lake Wheeler at the beginning of October. And then we've got Okeechobee in November, which I think is going to be a curveball for a lot of guys. So, pretty interesting little format.
Yeah, back down to Florida. Florida for November?
I've never been to Florida in November. I don't think a lot of guys have. So,
I was going to say I haven't heard of a lot of it. I know the fishing in that time of year. Actually, one of my really good friends who lives that way, he lives in South Carolina. I'm going to say that, and they're going to tell me North Carolina, but whatever. It lives down there, and he does a lot of fishing down that way. And it's like, yeah, Florida's one of those ones. But I think we talked about Florida a little bit last time, so it's one of those things that I think you should be able to do pretty good. So that's the three qualifiers for the elites right now.
Yep. So at the end of that deal, so in Okeechobee, the points race will be pretty tight, I'm assuming, because there's so many heavy hitters in this deal. It's unreal. But by that point, so out of 100 guys, top 10 goes. So it's 10% go to the Elite Series, and 10 people are going to have their lives changed. So it's pretty cool format, and how awesome they've got it, dialed in for this year. And I'm looking forward to it, because I don't know if you have a whole lot of knowledge about, the way that the Toyota series used to be, and it still is to this day, but it ain't quite as big of a qualification system anymore. Back before they changed it to the invitational circuit on MLF, that was the way you got into that, right? So me and Nordby and Ethan, we all, my two buddies, we all cut our teeth, doing that. And it was a 3 tournament deal just like this. You couldn't have a mess up. And, the only people that had a chance at going were the top 10, but top 5 were guaranteed. And then after that, if they declined their offer to go, then it went down to the next guy. So I think the third year I did that, I finished 7th, which was incredibly difficult. So I'm used to that format, so I'm kind of excited to see. I'm also a little nervous because I do know how hard it is. But consistency is going to be the deal. So just got to go and chase it and see where we end up. It's going to be interesting, I feel like.
Well, Laker, I'll tell you right now, you just qualified for the Classic, got your first major open win right there. Now you're going for the elites, huh? I mean, there's some stuff right there you got coming up in your life, man. I think that's pretty awesome. But, you talked a little bit about, you're a guide out there. You got a YouTube channel. This is the time in the show when I'm going to give you about 10 minutes, man, wide open. Everybody knows, now who Laker Howell is. And if you don't know, go look him up. And he's about ready to tell you how you can find him and the different things and the ways that you can get a hold of him. Laker, here it is.
Well, I'm a really simple person, so this is the way I look at it, right? Fishermen don't like tapping a lot of buttons. So the way I did it on my stuff, all platforms, the exact same thing. All you got to do, you can go to Google and look me up. It'll bring me up on anything you look for. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, it doesn't matter. I've got a website. You type in my name, Laker Howell, one word, and then you put fishing at the end of it, and it pops right up. So super easy. If you find me on Instagram or Facebook, I've got the link right there to my website. You can get on there. You can see all the cool stuff that we've done on there. And there's a guide link on there that gives you a direct link to my email, for booking a trip. But if you don't like emailing, you don't like typing buttons, you go to Instagram. There's a little button in the right-hand corner of my page that has a little drop-down arrow. You tap the drop-down arrow, and my phone number is sitting right there. So call away. I always answer, and if I don't, I'll call you back. So that's how you find me. Hope y'all want to follow along, because we just hit 20,000 followers on Instagram. So we're climbing a little bit, posting a lot of good stuff. Got me a camera guy that helps edit a lot of stuff and put stuff together. So slowly working my way up on everything for YouTube and Instagram. So if you want to follow along, that's how you find me, just Laker Howell Fishing across all platforms.
That's awesome, man. That was it was a great story. Congratulations on making it on all of this again, dude. I can't even tell you how, just I when I saw it, I was like, oh, it was like, I'm making that call right there. I got to talk to this old kid out here now about talking about the classic. I can't believe that, man. It's just that's what you dream for, man, and you just made a dream come true for yourself, and that's couldn't be any prouder of that one. That one's great. I know that your whole family's behind you on this one, encourage you on that thing, and it ought to be a real fun one. Have you ever fished that body of water before? Because it's going to be I don't know the name of the river system. It's another river system, right? It's Knoxville. It's
the Tennessee River, yeah. So
Tennessee River.
It runs right through. So it eventually connects to Gunnersville. It's Tennessee River, but
are you going all the way down?
Lord, no. I don't think you got enough gas or time to get down there and back. But no, I mean that deal there. I think it's like Fort Loudon and one other lake that's connected to it, and it's the river in between. We're going out of the river, but as far as I know, I just remember Gussie winning, and I remember hearing all the talk during practice from my buddies that were in it. It's not particularly going to be a slugfest. So without saying it sucks, that's as nice as I could put it. We're going to see how many bass. I feel like a limit a day is going to be really strong, but obviously we're going to be looking for, because I mean, if you look at the results, if I'm not mistaken, I do know the final day that Gussie only needed 2 bass to win the Classic when he was there. Because he had 2 bigger bags, but he didn't have like mega bags. I mean, it was like, I think he had 20 pounds one day, which is a really big bag for that place.
Yeah, I think that was day 1. He had 20 pounds, and then day 2 he didn't have, but he was still leading after it.
Yeah, I think he had like 14 to 18 somewhere in there, like a mid-range good bag. And then day 3, he just needed 2 bass. So that just tells you the average of what the bags are in that place. There was a lot of like 3 and 4 fish brought in. It sounds like a tough place, but that opens up a door for a grinder tournament. And grinder tournaments are really special because anybody can come from behind and win them. I'm looking forward to that, because a lot of guys are going to be focusing on how bad it's going to suck and this, that, and the other. And, oh, my gosh, I can't believe my first Classic is here. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. I think it's going to be fun. I like a challenge. And, I really prefer grinders over a slugfest. Because slugfest, man, like, you slip up a little bit in a slugfest and you can't come back. I mean, you're just out of it. On day 1, you lose it on day 1 in a slugfest. In a grinder, nobody's out on day 1. Day 2, nobody's out. I mean, if you're catching a limit each day and you're staying consistent, there's always a chance. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Laker, man, I'll be rooting for you. I'll be pulling for you for sure. Go out there, get something done, because I gotta see your dad waving a flag on the back of that boat. I know it's just got to make that happen. So let's do that.
I'll take a selfie with him doing it if that happens. I'll take a selfie. And
I will.
Send it to you.
Oh, no. I swear, I will have my wife up there in that pit taking pictures the whole time. That's not even an issue. I will make sure that we've got her with pit. That's right in front of Gussie's that's where I asked her to marry me. That's where I got engaged. Was right there at the the Classic, right there in front of that stage, right after he got crowned. So that's got a spot for me. I will put her back in that pit, making sure. And if you come across that stage and your dad's on the back of that, I will have pictures. Trust me, lots and lots of pictures.
Lots and lots. That's incredible. Well, man, thank you for having me on the show, dude. This has been awesome. It means a lot you called me to get me on here, and hopefully there's a reason to get me back in the future.
Absolutely. It's funny. I told him the last time he was on the show, I said, all you got to do is go out and win one, and I'll get you back on here. You won a big one. You've made yourself go up there a little bit further in the whole as a I don't know, special angler now. You've concreted your status in this whole industry again. And you know what? Thanks for just coming on and doing the show. Everybody out there, let me tell you, thank you for tuning in. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you didn't get any knowledge out of this one, go back and listen again. You missed something. All right, Laker, have a good evening, and I will talk to y'all on the next one in 2 weeks. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, brother. We'll see you.